Now recording.
Yeah.
Imagine that
yes.
being whispered into your ear. Yeah.
All
right, well, thank you for-
in my head.
Thank you for doing this, Josh. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Well, I'm super excited about this. I said to you, kind of like the nice thing to say to people when you're like done, like is like, oh man, if there's ever a chance for us to work in the future, I'd love to. And I was thinking like Speed Doxathon 2 ? I'm like, dude, maybe you can come back with SpongeBob.
Right.
Run it back.
Right.
And I was like, man, this is great. And no, and then like Headstrong reached out to me like a month later. It was like, yo, do you want to do? She doesn't talk like that. She was like, would you like to do a video about Jack 1? And I was like, yes. Oh damn, it came true.
Yeah, I know. I was very happy that we were kind of like deciding like, what do we want to do about the world record history, and we obviously knew about a lot of your videos and we like the way you guys do them. So, yeah, we reached out and now we're here.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that worked out and we're making the video now.
Yes.
I got to learn so much about Jack. More than I wanted to, I think. But
I bet. Yes.
It's so hard, dude. It's like,
a lot.
None of it makes any damn sense.
Yeah. Even me, like, knowing, like, the ins and outs of the game, like, some of it still is, like, fuzzy.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how it is for you.
You guys linked me the wiki, and I wrote a section of the script based on the wiki.
Uh-huh.
And then Kitar shows up and goes, this is not your fault, but the wiki is wrong. I was like, fuck me, the wiki's wrong?
Right.
Dude, I'm like, I feel like I got taken to the principal's office. I was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Kitar, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, let's start this bandwagon here, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
All right. When did you start speedrunning Jack and Daxter?
I unofficially started in October of 2014. But I started like actually streaming my attempts in July of 2015. So it took about 9 months.
9 months. Were you just doing offline attempts?
Yeah, at that time I was just kind of learning the game, and I found Twitch during that time and started watching people's runs and just kind of trying to replicate what they were doing.
Who'd you watch?
I watched a whole lot of Headstrong, Bill Braid, Jazz, Sultra. Yeah, that's about it. Pretty much. Those are probably my biggest. Yeah, the gang, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right around that time would have been like Bill's like last few records.
Right, yeah.
It would have been like the 105-33, the 105-47, and then Sultra had 2 records, and then Bill had 2, and then Jazz had 1 because of Red Sage, Cutscene Skip, and then yeah, so you're like right in that pocket.
Right, I was, yes.
Right around then. Okay.
That was about when I started, yeah.
The most interesting thing so far is that everyone starts off as if you were in someone else's chat. It's like we can like trace this back somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Talk to me about like what the community was like when you joined it. Like how big was it? What, like, just give me like a description,
I'd say so. I feel kind of. So it was pretty small. I guess I could like preface it with that. It was pretty small, and I wasn't really. I definitely wasn't like a big. I didn't feel like a big part of the community for a while. So I didn't really like know everyone in the community already. I was very much like a lurker. even when I started streaming, like I still wasn't like very, outgoing in the community. So while it was small, I still didn't even really talk with everyone. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's kind of how I started.
You have this great side story adjacent to the main kind of any percent drama, which is that you had the world record sweep. That you did that and you went for that. And if there wasn't already a video about you doing that, it would be in my video too, right? Like it would be in this video.
Yeah.
What was the first record that you got? Was it in I should know this.
I'll let you guess.
It wasn't 100%.
It was not.
It was no something.
Technically, it's not classified. It doesn't start as no, but
Hey, listen.
You can work
it's
around
not
that.
something else. All right, hang on. God, I feel like it has. Is it Orbless?
It is Orbless, yes.
Yes. Look
Yes.
at me. So you had your first record was in Orbless, and when was that?
I believe that was in 2015? Question mark. I don't know. It was either late 2015 or early 2016, maybe.
Okay.
Let's see. You know what? I can look it up. The power of the internet.
Dude, we're so smart.
Let's see. Doesn't even come up.
I believe in you.
All right, let's look. I have an Orbless playlist, so this is perfect.
Dude, you were made for this moment.
This is beautiful. It's all coming together. It was my 114.37 in September of 2015. So
what was your kind of approach for the categories that you ran?
So when I started with any percent, any percent at the time, just because it was the only category I really knew about. From then on, when Red Sage Cutscene Skip was when that was found, I decided, or the original Red Sage Cutscene Skip, I moved on. Like I went to a different category because I didn't know how to do the trick. It was too advanced for me. So I was like, okay, I can't do this. I was way too new at the game to work on that, but I felt like I was at a disadvantage if I didn't do it. So I just moved to a different category, and that ended up being Orbless, I believe. I ended up giving Orbless a try.
Wow.
And I think when no save and load was a thing, I think I tried that out as well. But yeah, the Orbless was, and I'm glad I did it. I think the reason that I kind of switch between categories is when I'm stressed out on a category, or when I, basically when I'm stressed out on a category, or I feel like I've hit my goal, then I'll switch over. And early on, that was pretty often. Yeah.
Right. Because you can get a PB pretty quickly, right? Because you're you come in, you're fresh, you're comfortable, and then you switch.
Exactly.
That first PB after coming back is it's kind of like chasing the dragon, dude.
Right. Oh man, there's no better feeling.
It really, honestly, especially if you haven't touched it in a while and you just get the rando PB, it's like, oh man, I'm shooting up.
Right.
God, I forgot that you make me laugh. You laughing at me makes me laugh.
I'm glad. It's yeah. It's
There's that whole section of the podcast that we recorded that we couldn't use because it was just me and you laughing.
Oh dang! Yeah.
It got in anyway.
Oh, it did?
There's a huge part where we're just laughing at each other.
Oh.
All right. Oh man, I did have a thing. Okay. When do you kind of obviously the old Red Sage cutscene skip is only for 3 months.
Right.
Because then they discover pause buffers. doesn't feel like it's only 3 months, by the way. It feels like it's forever, but
Right. Yeah. There's a lot that happened during that time.
and then you guys you have pause buffers, and that basically makes it free. So your apprehension about doing any percent's kind of alleviated. When did you come back?
I came back when pause buffering was found.
All right, so you came back like May-ish.
Right, yeah. And by this time I still wasn't even streaming. I was
Okay.
still because I was in Headstrong stream when well, I guess no one else was really, going at it except for Headstrong at the time. So whenever Headstrong streamed, I was there from second one, As
Yeah,
soon as
right.
we went live, I was there. And yeah, they started talking about how pause buffering was found, and I was like, wait, what? And there's this new Red Sage cutscene skip, and I'm like, oh my god, I can go back to any percent. um,
I'm free at
so,
last.
yeah.
Free at last.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. So, yeah.
Oh, man. So you go back, and then there's like, I mean, Headstrong just goes on a tear. I mean, really,
Right.
there's one person that kind of just makes a cameo, I guess you would call it.
Right.
Sax has the record the day that they find Gondola Skip, and Sax found Gondola Skip.
Just snuck it in there before anyone had a chance.
Dude, can you explain Gondola Skip? Like, there's a third person here. Like, who
Okay,
doesn't know what Gondola Skip is?
So Gondola Skip is at the end of Snowy Mountain. You're using Flut, which is a bird that you free from its quote unquote cage. You free it and you take it down to a different level, volcanic crater, with a precise double jump spacing over a death plane. And that is pretty much it.
And it skips having to take the gondola.
Exactly. Yeah, it skips having to take the gondola down. Also, for the next few power cells, your cutscenes are going to be the power cell cutscenes are going to be shorter, so that saves a little bit more time there. So yeah, it was really useful.
It's, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. They're a little shorter because of the way that the game loads things when something's not where it's supposed to be. So like, because you take Flut into volcanic crater, is that why the animations are like a little wonky, or?
The way the game was created, Flut cutscene power or the Flut power cell cutscenes are just designed to be shorter.
Oh, got it.
Than Jack's normal celebration.
Oh, they're shorter because you're on Flut. Got it.
Right, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Man, I was talking to Bill yesterday, and
oh really? Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in forever.
Dude, he showed up. He was like, I asked him, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?" And he's like, "Okay." And I was like, "I'm free now or tonight." And he goes, "Yeah, all right." And then we did it. He was great. He was honest, awesome. And then
that's cool.
Yeah, and he had a few things to say. And then at one point he's like, actually, it was a train wreck in the beginning. It was so awful, and then the bot died, and I felt that brought some levity to the situation, and we were able to like restart and be like, okay, great, this is awesome now. He was great. He does a lot of like competitive Tekken now.
Oh yeah. I definitely heard about that.
He's into it, man.
That's cool.
Living his best life. Yeah.
I've actually never even had like a conversation with Bill ever. He was just completely before my time before I got involved with the Jack community. So
but his story was a lot similar to yours. He said that we used to hang out in Bonesaw's chat.
Yeah.
And he would like hang out and like he'd go like PB and he wasn't streaming and he'd be like, "Hey Bonesaw, I got this time." And Bones was like, "That's cool." And then he'd like keep watching and whatever. And then Bill started streaming, and I think his first attempt he got within 30 seconds of the record. But the thing that I think makes him kind of like similar to your story was that, according to Bill, he was kind of like he didn't really interact with the community either.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like he just like it was really small, but I didn't really talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That was his kind of like perspective on the whole thing, which I think is interesting. And then you both had similar trajectories because you both made the game your bitch.
Right. Yeah. And I think
mean,
I think a lot of, I think earlier on we weren't as like together as a community, especially as we are today. We are like ridiculously close today.
you're glue.
Yes, we are glue at this point. So yeah, I think it was pretty normal for back then to like not be as involved with the Jag community and just, at least from my knowledge, yeah, I can't really speak for everyone else, but
I mean, at that point, it was more or less like the forums are dead. Here's a place to talk about Jack.
right, yeah.
I know that you're close friends. Talk to me a little bit about Headstrong. Like, what's Headstrong like as a runner? What are some of her like big strengths? What are some things you remember about Headstrong's runs? That sort of stuff.
Okay. Well, Headstrong is definitely one of my best friends. And she is balls to the wall when it comes to speedrunning. She is she doesn't have like, I think her biggest strength probably is her ability to how do I say? Uh she has like no fear. She has no fear when it comes to speedrunning, and it scares me, honestly. It still scares me to this day. She's like insane. Um her weakness is definitely like her consistency, and she knows that. She'll tell you that. Um but like she tries everything. And that is her strength, and she will get good at everything. Um so yeah.
She did the not RTA viable lava tube skip in 2 segments, right?
Yes, she did version 1, the Lava Tube Skip version 1 in 2 seconds.
Explain to people how insane that is, because it's insane. The original version of it, the one that wasn't RTA viable,
Yeah.
is insane. Like a that anyone found it,
Right.
but B that anyone actually did it in segments. Like
Yes.
forget single segment. That's not even in the picture. The fact that someone ever did it, RTA is
Right.
insane.
Yes. Yes. So, a lot of the craziness, I guess we could just start kind of from the beginning. Um, the zoom walks at the beginning and the uppercuts aren't as bad until you get to where you have to ledge grab for the very first time, because
And
that's
that's
blind.
just out of bounds, right?
That's out of bounds. Yes.
Yeah.
That's out of bounds. You can't see the ledge. You just have to grab it. um, and for some reason, Headstrong was really good at that. And you have to do other ledge grabs, semi-blind. Some of them were actually straight up blind. Some of them are semi-blind. You could see like parts of a ledge and pray. But once you get through that, uh, the next kind of thing is scout flight boosted. Scout flight boosted today is still like one of the scariest parts of like an any percent run or any category with scout flight boosted in it. Still one of the scariest parts, and having to do the blind ledge grabs up until the scout flight boosted is insane enough already.
And so what you're doing there is you're doing the boosted uppercut off of us, the scout fly crate, right? Like a really
Correct.
tiny low to the ground thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it continues. It continues. You take the little shortcut through the lava lake thing. Now, once you get to the pillar, I believe that's where she said that her second segment comes in, because that roll jump, that roll jump into the little zoom inside the pillar is ridiculous, and it is the single hardest thing, probably. Thank God it was never done RTA like in a run, but It is
That would have
probably
been
the
a
single most difficult thing about
that
the
would have
game.
been a category killer.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no way that anyone would have continued to run it. You would have gotten someone did it once.
Right. And you know what? I think given enough time, I think Headstrong would have done it. I think Headstrong would have been the first. But there's, after, version 2, version 3 have found there's no need for version 1 anymore, so no one starts to work on it
Right.
anymore. But if, given enough time, Headstrong would have been the one. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But after the pillar, you got some ledge grabs at the end. And, by this point, I'm sure, you're sweating, sweating bullets. And when you grab these ledges, some of them they're not really intuitive. Some of them aren't intuitive. Like you grab a ledge that isn't really there at some points.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to know where to grab because some of the ledge grabs they look invisible. Like they're not even there.
It's like double blind because it's blind because you can't see what you're doing. Right? Because sometimes you have the uncooperative camera and sometimes you can't see what you're grabbing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
double blind. There you go.
So yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say like there are two separate sections for the ledge grabs.
Right.
Yeah, because the first set of ledge grabs are misleading because you can't see them for the most part, and the second set of ledge grabs you can see them, but the ledges aren't exactly where you think they are, and that can be scary.
One where it's just barely possible?
Yes.
Like it's just. Also, you can only get hit 3 times, right? You get 3. You get hit a 4th time, you die.
Right. All that with 4 health.
And then all of that first part, all the ledge grabs and stuff, was to save getting hit 1 time.
Yes. A single time. A lot could have been avoided. And I mean a lot. Yeah. I still can't believe it was even found. So
59:56, the first sub hour.
Oh,
Were
man.
you watching it?
I absolutely was. I think everyone was. I was there. I remember exactly where I was when sub 1 happened. I was on my way to school. I was about to leave for school, actually. It was like 5 a.m. for me. And I was just sitting. I was so tired, but I was like, oh my God, she's on pace. Like, I have to watch. And so here I am, just watching the sub 1 as it unfolds. And I remember having a very good day at school that day.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. May 24th, 2015. Josh had a good day.
I did.
That's insane though. Like that was how hype was that? Like what was the like it's kind of weird because she got the 103.13 and then you have 3.5 minutes of time save.
Right.
From pause buffers. So but like what is that feeling? Like what was the reaction?
I think everyone was beyond hyped about it, except for Headstrong. It's so funny because, everyone was so excited about this sub 1. The very first Jack and Daxter has finally been beaten in under an hour. Yes, finally. And then Headstrong's like, oh, it should have been done 5 days ago. like Headstrong is like that. But yeah, it was a very exciting time in the community, I'd say.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
I heard a little birdie told me.
Oh.
You had a rivalry with Jazz.
I did.
Is this like a Knives Out rivalry? Like walk me through this, because I've talked to people and they're like, I don't know anything about it. So talk to me about this. What's going on?
So this rivalry started. Both me and Jazz at the beginning of 2018 had a 24-30 in any percent, right? Um, and we both of us had kind of decided to just leave it there, right? We were satisfied that we both had a tied record at 80%. Until Jazz decided, you know what, it's time. And so all the way in October, he decides, you know what, I'm gonna get this record. And so he does it. And so I see him do that, and I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'm back too, right? And chaos ensued from there. It was very much like very much a friendly competition.
Right.
We both were having a lot of fun with it. I know that. At a certain point, I was not having fun anymore because this game was destroying my mental. Especially toward like when I had got the 24-24, I was over it because we were saving like 1 or 2 seconds on each other or whatever. And we're looking for this, like, me and Jazz when we were communicating to each other, we were like, okay, we know sub 24:10 is possible. That's like the God run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think even during my 24:07, I talk about how 24:10 is the God, or sub 24:10 is the God run. And yeah, then it just kind of, the 2014 happened, the 24:07 happened, just kind of out of nowhere, and then we were like, well, yep, any percent's dead. That's it. Pack it up, everyone go home. That's the end of it. No one's gonna beat that.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a very fun rivalry between me and Jazz. Probably one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, absolutely. That also explains why you guys took a break after 24:30. So thank you for that. So obviously you're in pain. You're suffering. This is hard for you. Like, I totally get it. You're playing a game, and the game within the game is you're saving a second here and a second there.
Right.
But what you didn't know was that your life would be so much worse once they discovered Fire Canyon Skip.
Right. We didn't think it could get worse, but it did.
So Bobby found it, right? I think.
Yes.
So Bobby found it, and then nobody wanted to touch it, right? Nobody wanted to put it into the run. You were done. Jazz was done. Like, all right, we're content. Like, if someone wants to go beat their brains out, knock yourself out.
Right.
And so Luigi's like, I got a hammer.
Yeah.
So there's that great video of all of you in the room. Who's all in that video?
I believe it is me, Jazz, Sikinar, who is a very prominent Jack 2 runner, Ra, who's a Jack 1 glitch hunter, as well as Wed. Wed is he also runs Jack, but he's mostly like a Spyro runner.
That's the guy that you guys tell to go back to Spyro.
Yes. Yes.
He's like in bed, like it doesn't care at all. He's like, go back to Spyro.
Right. Yeah. I believe that's all of us. Yeah. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
So you're watching. You're at GDQ, and you're in Herndon, Virginia. No, 2019 would have been Rockville, Maryland.
Yeah.
You're in Maryland. It's and you're all on your phones watching Luigi. What is that moment like?
Man, it's like it definitely threw a curveball at all of us. A very cool curveball. But a curveball nonetheless. It was a very exciting moment for all of us, I think. Seeing we didn't want like any percent to be dead forever. But we also didn't think we didn't even know Luigi was learning Fire Canyon Skip. We didn't even know until he pulls out this run, And so like we are very excited that the game is starting a new era, but well, I guess in that moment, that's where the excitement's at. The excitement is all there, and then there comes a realization, like, okay, wait, this is real. We have to learn this, right? And so that is kind of where the pain comes in.
We're gonna get to the pain.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to me. You did a great job explaining what makes Fire Canyon Skip difficult, because I want people to understand that there are skips in the game. Like, you can skip the cutscenes and you can skip Claw, and
Right.
they're not. I don't think most of them are technically difficult. I don't think that
Right.
pause buffering is difficult. You can do it at
No.
any time. It's a frame perfect trick, but you can perform it on any frame, even on
Right.
subsequent frames if you mess it up, right?
Yeah.
But like, now you have sequence breaks in the game, and they're hard.
Mhm.
Like, is Lava Tube Skip hard? Like,
Comparatively to Fire Canyon Skip,
I mean, just in general. I mean, compared to
just
everything else in the run,
Lava Tube Skip, I'd say, is like, it's moderately difficult. It's kind of the end all be all for any percent runs, I guess. Kind of it's kind of the last thing. It is difficult, yes. In short, it is difficult.
I mean, plus you have all the nerves. I mean, it's one thing to
Right.
practice something, it's another thing to be on pace and have to do lava tube skip.
Right.
And so we know that that's all hard. Now tell me about Fire Canyon Skip, because the way that you explained it to me the other day, I thought was so succinct and was a really great explanation of it.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of just want me to go through just all of it?
Yeah, the method that you guys kind of do now.
Okay.
That's the third one, I think. God.
Yeah, we call it like version 2.1 or 2.5, whoever you ask. It's kind of like a small variation of the second version.
Right.
So what we do now, we do these 3-frame jumps at the very beginning of Fire Canyon. And once you get on top of the actual lava or the fiery canyon terrain, you have to turn yourself around. That part's not very difficult. You turn yourself around so you can bounce faster. I don't know why, but the momentum is better if you're faced the other way, faced toward the camera.
Dude, BLJs.
Yes. Yes. But the real difficulty starts coming when you reach the first orb crate. So in Fire Canyon, as you're bouncing in Fire Canyon, there are objects placed all around Fire Canyon that all have like a magnet surrounding them. And once Jack bounces in that radius of that object, Jack is attracted to that object. And once Jack lands on said object, then Jack dies. Jack has, for 99% of Fire Canyon, Jack has 0 health. But you can still control him. He's just looking for a place to die.
It sounds so dramatic.
I know. Yes, it kind of is. So yeah, once Jack finds a place to die, that's it, because you get teleported right back to the beginning of Fire Canyon. So you have to get through all of Fire Canyon without being attracted by any objects. And that comes with some difficulties. The first major difficult area would be the first orb crate, because it is surrounded by a very tiny bridge. And the orb crate has quite a big radius that covers almost the entire bridge, with very, very, very tiny spots being, unattracted, that will not attract Jack.
They swipe left.
Yeah. Yes. And so once you bounce around those small spaces, then you're left with like a minute or so of bouncing until you get to second box. Now this bridge is slightly wider. It does have more. How do I say this? There's a larger margin of error for this box, but not too much more. It is still very easily killable at second box, but it is widely regarded as the easiest of the four areas, the four hardest areas of Fire Canyon Skip.
Okay.
So once you get around the second box, you go straight to the ramp. The ramp is the third of four hard areas. The ramp is difficult because, once again, it's massive. it's massive, and its radius is massive, and the space that you have to get through is narrow. So you once again have to land on tiny spots on the right side of this ramp. One misplay and you're gone. You're back to Fire Canyon Skip, or back to the beginning of Fire Canyon.
Put your food in the garbage, kid.
Yeah, you're done. Get out of here. And once you're past the ramp, you have one final task, and there are these dark eco crates. It's like a wall of dark eco crates, and the biggest problem about that is that there is no way to get past these crates without destroying them. Because all these crates all have radii around them, and so there's no way to get past them without being inside of one of the radii. So that's scary, because if you land on top of any of the dark eco crates, then you're dead. Jack dies. However, if you hit the side of these crates, they break and their radius is gone. So we actually use this to our advantage by going inside the radius of one of the set of dark eco crates, and we destroy that, and we go to the another set of dark eco crates and destroy that, and then we're on our way after that.
The idea being that the game expects the dark ego to damage you, but because you're already dead, it just doesn't do anything, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And then don't you have to do something with the camera?
Oh, yes, that's at the very end. Right. It is. I've actually lost I think 1 or 2 runs to this. At the very end of Fire Canyon, you have to make sure your camera is turned, toward, like, I guess, the end of Fire Canyon. You can't be like in front of Jack; it has to be behind Jack. And the reason for that is, when you hit cutscenes in this game, or when you hit checkpoints in this game, most of the checkpoints are because your camera passes through them. And so you have to make sure that your camera passes through the end of Fire Canyon checkpoint, or you get teleported all the way back to the beginning. So yeah, turn your camera.
Always turn your camera. It has a hitbox like a Lakitu kind of thing.
Right, exactly. That's exactly.
If there was a real Lakitu there.
Mm-hmm. And it can get stuck behind things. It's like a real person. The camera is a person too. So
awesome. 1 second.
No worries.
All right, sorry. I'm challenging. I'm money matching people in Melee. I've never played Melee before. All right. I'm just throwing down the gauntlet, dude. This is how I live my life, 1/4 mile at a time. All right. talk to me, because I think that February of 2019, and I say this without exaggeration, that might be the most impressive individual effort I've ever seen from one speedrunner.
Mm. Thank you. That's very flattering.
I mean, the 2nd, the 18th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 25th, the 26th.
Yeah.
Just taking this time down and down and down. You're going so fast, you have to start doing lava walk again, because that's faster, but also I'm sure causes you more pain.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, it's gotta be weird. Like, this game went from being something you would take, like, oh, you get like a run or two in and a stream. Now you could do like 100 runs in a stream, or
Yeah.
at least start 100 of them, right?
Right. A lot of guys are rocks during these grinds. A lot.
All the guys are rocks.
Oh, yeah.
All my homies hate guys are rock.
Yeah, I've been there too often. I feel like I know way too much about it.
Yeah. So you stop after the 1645.
Mhm.
And this is the longest period of time that a record sat uncontested since like Zenek Reeve.
Yeah.
Like a real accomplishment. And then you come back and you lower it. Talk to me about the 1635. Why'd you come back? And then how hype is that run?
So, okay. The 1635 is for special in a good way and in a bad way for me. So the reason I came back to any percent was because there were some new stuff found.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cutscene skip found for, I believe it was the first Power Cell cutscene. So there was a skip found for that, and there were also new setups found for like the first box in Fire Canyon Skip, the second box, and there were also setup lists. So you never stopped to set up, your bounces for the first box. You kept going. And Jazz and Bobby worked a lot on that, and they also did more attempts, but I think Jazz ended up with like an 18 or something, and Bobby got like a 20 maybe. But
Wow.
they as much work as they put into these setups, they couldn't get like a really good run, because that's the nature of any present at this point.
Mhm.
So because of those new things, I felt kind of obligated to show them in a world record, to at least say that, hey, this run can be pushed further. And that's kind of the bad part about it. This run, the 1635, can definitely be pushed lower by like, I can probably go under 1620.
Really?
Realistically, yes. But like, this category is so painful. It's gone so far. It's like it's wild. And yeah, it's so after 16 months, I finally muster up the courage,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically why I came back. Felt obligated to show it all.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Someone just got another, like, the second person to get like a 16-minute time, like, last week.
Yes. It's
Stellar?
been a long time. The Stellar, yes. Stellar is he actually started speedrunning at the very beginning, at this time last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's improved really, really fast, and he's become like a prominent member in the community. and
Nice.
we all love him so much. But yeah, he's really good. He's really
If
good, and I'm
someone
very
was
happy
gonna,
for him.
if someone was gonna beat your time, who is it?
Oh, it's absolutely stellar.
Not even close. No one close.
I think Jazz or Bobby could. I think Bobby's movement isn't as good. Jazz
Mhm.
has the movement. He just doesn't have the dedication, I guess, to it at the
Mhm.
moment. But Stellar, man, he's got it all. He really does. And if it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Stellar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What else do you think for the future of the game? Someone showed me this. I gotta say, it's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. They lag the bridge in Forbidden Jungle,
Yes.
and then they eat
Yes.
themselves to the Citadel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I was gonna quote Zem, I yote myself like a fucking madman.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think the future of the game is?
Man, it'd be very ignorant for me to say that this is the last thing that happened. Like Fire Canyon Skip is the last big thing to happen for any percent. Be very ignorant for me to say that. I feel like,
But
but, but never say never, because speedrunners are crazy, and we will do crazy things. So I feel like at some point there may be like maybe a geyser rock skip of some kind. I personally, for Bridge Blast, I don't think that'll ever be a thing in Jack 1 any percent.
dude, you're just
But
challenging some young tasser out there.
and
He,
I
you're
wouldn't
giving
even
him
be mad
fuel.
about it. If someone actually did pull it off, I wouldn't even be mad about it. You probably wouldn't see me in the mix running any percent. However,
Would you hang it up?
I I would probably hang any percent up if something like that happened. But I surprise myself every day, so you never know.
Hey, listen, man. You get up every morning, right?
Yeah,
You've done that every day for for your whole life. You've gotten up every morning, so there's no telling what you're gonna do tomorrow.
exactly. There's no
All right.
telling.
Hey, listen. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think we should talk about?
Um. Hmm. Okay. Well, are you interviewing Luigi by any chance?
I haven't.
Okay.
But if you want to say some stuff about Luigi, so we can get more Luigi in the video, I'm all about that.
Okay. Sure. Um. I just want to say, well, for Luigi, uh, it's still like, I don't know how to say it. It still surprises me. Like I still think about it sometimes. Like that day where you got Fire Canyon Skip in a run for the first time. It still is shocking. Not because it's you, but because it even happened.
Wow.
And that alone kind of gives me hope that the game will be pushed further on. Like, there's no telling what's gonna happen to this game.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, didn't Roser make that video? It was like Lava Tube Skip will never be found.
Right.
I'm gonna dunk on him so fucking hard. I'm so ready for it. My interview with him is like tomorrow or the next day. I'm gonna dunk on him. Let's go.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's all.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me, Josh. It's always a pleasure.
Of course.
And obviously, I hope that we do. I mean, you basically only play this, so hard to get you in on the Jack 2 video, but we'll find a way, right? We'll figure it out. We'll find
Yeah.
another way to work together in the future.
Hey,
And
if you ever
go
do
ahead.
like I don't know, like Rehydrated or something, I was a part of that as well.
Dude, we're gonna do rehydrated just till we get the Josh.
Uh,
it's it's Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated, but it's just Outrag Awakens.
That'll make for a great video.
It would be great. I'm gonna put it out on April Fool's Day. So, all right.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate you.
Of course, anytime.